So I guess from our perspective, some of the challenges that we see families face are that one, um, raising a person with a disability is hard. Raising any child is hard, but there are tremendous financial consequences associated with that because there are sacrifices that have to be made, whether it's a spouse not being able to go back to work because they were unable to after having a child, or maybe a spouse has to continue working longer because they weren't able to save as much. But the net effect is that sometimes we're doing retirement planning for three, which it's hard enough for two. So when you add on to that the amount of coordination that the families do, and if you were to monetize that, it's tremendous. I just think about the hours spent where, I didn't go out with friends because I was watching my sister Natalie, and that's when I was growing up. Well, that never stops. So what I see families not addressing is not only what do they do financially when they're gone, but who's going to help facilitate and coordinate these services? Because if we're going to shift to a self-directed model, and that means that we're getting away from an agency hire situation where individuals are hiring their own staff, but they need support in doing that. We have to have a mechanism for them to find these people in a safe way. We have to have a mechanism for them to collaborate with other people to share their ideas and share their common interests. And we have to break away from the HIPAA privacy that prevents people from talking, because that has to occur. And I think as a service provider, these are uncomfortable questions, but we have to be driving it every day until there's a plan. And it doesn't have to be that complex. For example, if you get a trustee in place that understands the issues, if you get a service provider that has the mechanism for perhaps some private pay services, even having the mechanism gives people a choice. But right now, we don't. If I show up at your door with $100,000, I can't buy a service necessarily. That's wrong. And if provider agencies are going to thrive in a new system, they need to be looking at different ways to serve people. And one of those ways is figuring out, all right, my self-directed plan just ended. I need to stop, or I'm going to pick up then on the private pay option, which is not for everyone. But it's going to be for a lot of people. And right now we're not even catering to them at all. One of the things that I see that just breaks my heart is we have all these families that get 200 hours of respite. They have the hours. They can't get the people. They get these PRAs of 120 grand, and their utilization rate is 20,000 because they don't have the people. We don't have the mechanisms to connect people with quality staff, and it's happening across the state in pockets. We've forced a system of pure Medicaid and nothing else, and we don't, and it just doesn't make any sense. And yet disability is part of the human condition. So it affects poor people, rich people, all ethnicities. It just affects everybody. So why wouldn't we allow everybody to participate in these services?